Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I hope you're having yourself a great day. We have two market updates today. We did Crucible of War already, and we're going to do Arcane Rising now. If you want access to all this data as a collection tracker, head on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Get yourself access to a collection tracker as well as a 10% off per month discount over at Midtown Merchant. Great way for you to get some singles, great way for you to get access to a Discord server to hang out and chat about the game, as well as the collection tracker. We also do regular events as well. We have 3 armory events a week that's run through the channel through 3 different stores. So pretty awesome. All right, hope you guys are ready for Arcane Rising. Not a ton of stuff on first edition. We'll kind of move through this pretty quick. There are sealed boxes selling for around 1800, around 1825. Let me pop it up and show it to you. 2300 Canadian is 1814. Is one that sold for $18.75. 1900 was last week's price. So things have slowed down a little bit, and they've started to trickle down a little bit. Not anything huge to chat about. I still think on eBay, on Facebook, if you were selling, you could probably try to get around $2,000. It might take a while to find a seller, or for buyer, but you might be able to get it soon. That seems to be where we're floating, around that $1,800 to $2,000 range. Meanwhile, you can get unlimited boxes for $64 over on TCG Player. All right, that is also down. So let's hop in and talk about the Eye of Ophidia. So I am aware of a heart sale that happened at Vegas. I heard some rumors talking about a sale of an eye for $12,000, but I did not talk to the 2 people that actually purchased it or sold it. So I cannot include that. I am aware of a heart sale that we'll talk about tomorrow. That being said, I would still say around $10,000 is what I would expect it to be, anywhere between 8 and 13 probably, depending on condition, depending on the buyer, seller, the relationship. That seems to be where we are. Remember that we had these big, huge issues of a lot that sold kind of back in this range. That's kind of what caused the price point to significantly decrease rapidly. Anyway, meanwhile, you still have your unlimited eye that is maybe starting to balance out 3 weeks in a row at 170. Have we finally found the bottom for an unlimited eye and the unlimited heart? We'll find out on this week's episode of How Much Money Can We Lose on Our Cards. So that's kind of where we are. About 170 for the unlimited eye. All right, let's talk about first edition. Is it worth it to open the box? Really, the only sold listing currently that I could find of a legendary was a skull cap, a skull bone cross wrap for 1,100. That was on eBay. Comparatively, earlier this week, you had one for 1,300. So a couple people buying them. Maybe it was the same person who bought both of them. I don't know. That being said, around 1,100, that puts your average to about 1,740. Really not a whole lot available. The marketplace is completely bare. Every marketplace is completely bare. eBay is impossible to find any of them. When you do find them at these prices, they go very quickly. They don't stay up that long. This is not a sky is falling market reaction. There's one Storm Striders available, and it's 3,400 on eBay. So the market's not collapsing. There's just, when people sell something, it's cheaper, but nobody is selling, if that makes sense. Your average is still 1,700 for the first edition legendaries. All right, let's talk about cold foil commons. Not a ton of movement. A couple of these are like the same sold listing. Like there was a vest of the first fits that sold for 300. Bullseye bracers goes up to 260. No ring gloves though, a little soft, going down to 225. This has always been one of the more sought after of the null rune. I'm not sure why this week, but it sold for 225 on eBay. There's just not a lot of stuff going on. Honestly, I wonder if the calling and people like not being around is causing just nothing to happen in the market as a result of everyone was traveling this past week, or a lot of people were traveling. So your average cold foil comment is still just under $300. I do think that these start to flatline around that $300 price point, because that is a lot of the price points that people were purchasing before the skyrocketed. So that's almost like a market bottom, in my opinion, is around that $300 range. Let's talk about Majestics. Really no rainbow foil Majestics being purchased or sold these days. You've got your regular Majestics that are kind of losing some value. They're down 3.5%. to average around $41. Command and Conquer still sitting about 175. Where's your Art of War? Still sitting about 85. It's kind of plus or minus depending on a seller. Sonic Boom is a card though that got purchased up on Unlimited this past week, or 2 weeks ago maybe it was. And I wonder if that's kind of why the first edition moved. I wonder if somebody was just like, hey, I'm going to buy some of the first edition as well. But that's kind of the big card that I moved this past week. Average is $41.30 for your regular Majestics. Super rares, again, nothing really moving. The Rainbow Foil, we had a huge downtick in the Rainbow Foil, and that caused, really the prices are going to be stagnant for a long time, I think. This was one seller way back in June that sold all of them on eBay for very, very cheap and kind of tanked the market down to this range, and now nobody's buying above that. Nobody's selling below that. So meanwhile, your regular ones are down to an average of $8.11, which is down 3%. Let's take a look at the Rainbow Foil Rares. TCG low on these has gone down 10% to 1878. Nothing huge to talk about. These all just kind of move up and down based on TCG low. Your first edition regular rares are actually up to $1.30. Life for Life, look, it's just like killing the $1.60, up 39%. Nothing really to talk about. Rainbow Foil common price, you do have some value here at an average around $7.15. Fate Foreseen, those are cards that in the first edition, they're sought after. They're going to be played in decks for forever and all eternity. And I think the first edition do have significant value because there's just not a lot of them. There's a lot of commons. It's hard to get a complete set, and that kind of gives the value. So your average is $7.19. All right, let's talk about your EV then. If you were to open up 40 boxes, you could expect to get about $1,405. Not a whole lot there when you're buying a box for $1,800. Meanwhile, if you're just going to open one box, you're not going to hit the Fable. You don't want to include the Legendary. You're still including the Rainbow Foil Majestic, and you're sitting on an average of $720. Again, it's certainly not worth it to buy. Really, what you should be looking at is that the whole market of these cards has gone down 4.2%. And that's kind of the important thing to look at. Look at the sealed product value compared to the cards in the product. See how much spikier it is and how much lower it is. If this trend line, we kind of landed there, but early over time, this kind of suggests to me that this is a healthy time to start buying boxes. Because the price point is at the same price that it should be based on the growth that we had, and the boxes spiked first. The cards tried to trail it, but then everything just kind of slowly tailed off. So I love that graph. It looks really cool. It's really cool to gain some information out of that. In my mind, it says, okay, we're back to now where boxes should be priced based on the singles, based on what the market was doing. And that kind of makes the boxes sealed product be a little bit more appealing, even more so today. All right, let's start talking about Unlimited. So your legendaries, Grasp the Arcane skyrocketing for this week for some reason. I don't fully understand it. Maybe, Chain's presence at the calling. Maybe it's Briar. I haven't looked at what people are talking about with Briar with equipment. Maybe that's part of it. But Grasp the Arcanite up 62% to 120. Maybe the market just got dry on it for a little bit. Meanwhile, Skullbone Crossrep going down as people maybe realize that Lexi's not going to utilize it over the new hood. Your average is down to $96.60, which is down 1%. Arcanite Skullcap under $200 now, which is great. It's awesome to see that as a more accessible card. We skyrocketed it up to $300 back in June. This is now the more appropriate price that we had been used to previously in the marketplace. Looking at your Majestics, a lot of movement. Art of War, the one that's interesting to me. A lot of the Rainbow Foil ones are actually going down in price. Meanwhile, the regular ones are going up in price. Just kind of an interesting thing to note. Same thing is happening. Actually, the opposite is happening for Command and Conquer. The Rainbow Foil is going up in price, but the regular is going down in price. So I don't know the math behind that or the reasoning behind that, but that's just the way things are. Meanwhile, you've got some other, the Ranger cards are kind of popular. You've got, that's pretty much it. Just the Ranger cards that are popular, that are kind of ticking up, but nothing huge to talk about. We had like an increase in 3 of a kind last week, but now we're back to kind of down as a result of, again, like people buy stuff, but it's unlimited. There more supply is always right behind the corner. So your average rainbow foil is sitting at $22. Your average regular is sitting at $16. Both of those are down about 6%. Your super rares, everything's down about 10%. This Knock the Death Whistle, it's up to $1, which is up 300%, but like it was like at 50 cents or something like that. So like this is not that big of a deal. Everything's kind of trending downwards. Don't keep, I mean, these are $1, so it's kind of hard to really like, it's just what's available when I pull it. So don't take these percentages as much. All in all, your percentages, everything is at about $1 or $1.50, depending regular or rainbow foil. Rainbow foil rares, you're sitting at about 43 cents. Again, not this stuff doesn't matter that much, but you do have some cards like Plunder Run that are kind of sought after. That's, you know, even that's down though 39% to an average of 350. Just keep in mind when you're opening these cards, take a look at your rares and your commons, because there is some value in the rainbow foil. Like, you know, the rainbow foil commons, there is some value in some of these specific cards, especially the null rune stuff. So yeah, all right, let's hop in and take a look at your EV. So I wanted to refresh to make sure everything got in there. Take a look at your EV, and let me make this a full screen for you one more time. So right now you're you're really sitting at an EV that's around $75. Even if you're opening up one box, if you're opening up Fable or the Legendary, if you're opening up a case, you're really sitting around $75. If you're just opening up one box, just around $51. It's kind of where you're at. So again, like, is it worth it to open a $60 box? If you're opening a case, then yes, I think it is. But if you're opening just boxes, it's really not. And even at opening a case, you're selling a lot of the things. You're selling the rares. You're selling the foil commons. It's just, if you need singles, it's always better to buy singles. That's the moral of the story. But if you want to have some fun and open boxes, at the kind of $65 price point the boxes are right now, the risk is minimal. If you're going to open a case, the risk is minimal. If you're going to open a box, do not expect to get your value back. You have to hit Command and Conquer or E-Strike, or so you have to hit Command and Conquer or the skull cap. Now, honestly, that's the case though. Like, look at how this Majestic regular pans out. Your average is so skewed. Yeah, this finally just added the rare. So your actual price here is $56, but that includes the rares. Again, if you want to pick or choose what you want included in this EV, head on over to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com. Like, you know, I just hit the button that include the rares there, and that adds $5 to the EV. You're probably not going to be able to sell the rares for that much anyway. But, you know, this Majestic regular is so important because you could hit a Command and Conquer, you could hit an Art of War, or you could not, and your averages are way skewed based on those generic. Anyway, that being said, if you want access to a collection tracker that updates automatically every time I do a video like this, head over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. Sorry, it was kind of boring today. Honestly, it was kind of a boring market update, both of them for Crew and Arcane, but I'm also just tired. So I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you, and we'll see you again tomorrow for some more videos, hopefully more rested videos.